Continuing with the theme of sibling rivalry, today I want to delve into a single but significant metaphysical truth from Jesus' parable of the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15. Reverend Kathy Kellogg supplied us in her message on March 28, 2021, with an extensive and excellent examination of the three parables in this chapter of Luke. These parables discuss a series of losses and their recoveries, namely the lost sheep, 1 in 100, the lost coin, 1 of 10, and the lost son, 1 of 2 brothers. The lost son, of course, is the prodigal from the parable's title. But as Reverend Kathy so aptly pointed out, there are 3 main characters in the story: the father and the 2 sons. And as she indicated, there are times when we can identify ourselves as having played one or more of these 3 roles in the story. We have the magnanimous father, the younger son who came back home after his riotous living and endured want, and the older brother who never left home but became very jealous of his father's grand welcoming of his brother. The prodigal son in our story has experienced extreme highs and lows. There's the euphoria of his riotous living while his money held out, and the despair brought on when his employment proved insufficient to sustain a decent living. His job was feeding pigs, and he saw them living and eating better than he was. This is the moment we want to focus on. In the Greek text of chapter 15, verse 17, we read, eis hiaton de elthon, which literally means he came to himself, as rendered in most English translations. In the Jesus Seminar's Scholars Version translation, as with a number of more modern translations, the text is rendered, quote, he came to his senses, end quote. These 2 idiomatic expressions denote the prodigal's sudden awareness or realization that life as a servant in his father's household would be better than the life he was then leading. The prodigal son most likely was apprehensive about the reception he would encounter at home. He even rehearsed in his mind what he planned to tell his father. Now, I want to share with you a print This is one by Albrecht Dürer, a German artist of incomparable talent. This print is estimated to have been completed in 1496 when he was 25 years old. It is now part of the Metropolitan Museum of Art's collection in New York. Please note how the older pigs seem to display a degree of wonder, perhaps even pity for the prodigal's situation. He, in turn, is seen contemplating his circumstances, perhaps even praying over them. The insight of a better life as a servant in his father's household becomes the driving force in the prodigal son's pursuit of a change in his circumstances. This process of coming to oneself or to one's senses presents a quandary not easily explained. The science of consciousness or consciousness of mind is still in its early stages. Neurologists have mapped the different parts of the brain and their role in supplying information about the experiences we are having. There are theories about neuronal complexes interacting with each other to produce the ideas and images we refer to as lived experiences and the insights that come from that. Even understanding terms like insight, intuition, and rationality present their challenges. While we may not know or understand the process involved in coming to one's senses, we all very definitely have experienced it. Charles Fillmore, in his book, The Revealing Word, supplies the metaphysical definition of consciousness as follows: the sense of awareness, of knowing, the knowledge or realization of any idea, object, or condition, the sum total of all ideas accumulated in and affecting man's present being. He further adds, the composite of ideas, thoughts, emotions, sensation, and knowledge that makes up the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious phases of mind. It includes all that man is aware of: spirit, soul, and body. The growth in the prodigal's consciousness, that is, the illuminating awareness that a better life was very possibly open to him, is what we want to dwell on. Regardless of how his insight came about, the important detail here is that the way out of his predicament and move towards abundance was revealed to him. It was but a small step in his transformation, his becoming a new person, if you will. By the time he arrives at his former home, his father is there to meet him and shower him with benefits beyond anything he might have imagined. And just think, he was prepared to accept living as a hired servant in his father's household. The celebration that follows marks the joy at his return. For as the father speaks, first to the servants and later to the older son, he explains that this son was dead and now is alive, was lost and now is found. This thought very vividly is reflected in the first stanza of the familiar hymn, Amazing Grace, by John Newton. The text goes, I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Our gospel account does not reveal whether the older brother develops comparable insights about the joy of being loved and accepted and having a place in the household. After all, he has been wrestling with his feelings of jealousy and his sense perhaps of being a victim in a disordered universe. We are the ones who now can discern what it means to form and experience insights about our circumstances, the possibilities that are open to us, and what we will make of them. If we but make use of our divine nature, we too will be able to see the possibilities for change and abundance. May we also be driven to pursue our growth in consciousness.